Do 100 women see consent the same way?
How has the conversation around consent changed in your lifetime?
Oh, well, now we have it.
True.
What is consent? For you, what is consent?
Consent is a fuck yes from both parties.
Enthusiastic.
Hard, strong, yes.
Yes.
Not just like, yeah, sure.
A full willingness to participate.
Knowing that you're all the way in it.
Who initiates it?
Whomever wants to do something that's not already happening.
I feel like it's different
Fair
for
enough.
two women than it would be for a man and a woman, to be honest.
I think women are more aware of like what it feels like to be like preyed upon.
If there is a predator in the situation, it's most likely going to be the man.
I think we do this thing where it's like all about like women and things like that, but I think women can be predatory as well.
I think you have to
True.
both agree
The fuck?
upon on the same page.
So mutual 2 yeses.
It takes 2 to consent, but 1 to reject.
Consent can change in the middle too. I've flirted and
What?
thought I wanted it, and then they kept pushing when I was like no, and I realized that was not consent. But because I didn't know how to speak up, I still went on with it.
Boundaries can constantly change.
Fair
I'm
enough.
allowed to stop it.
You're close to your climax, and if someone says no at that point,
The other person has to stop immediately.
If I'm in the middle of this and I decide it's over, then it's fucking over.
Yeah, but that's such a bitch thing to do, though.
I cannot.
For me, 1, 2, 4 drinks, I feel like I would still be able to make sound decisions.
There's a line that gets crossed between being tipsy and being inebriated.
What's consent?
True.
Yes, verbally.
Can consent ever be
Verbally, yes.
I would probably say no.
Not to me.
When it comes to sex, it should be explicit.
You should verify.
Full transparency.
Bro,
always
ain't
ask
no way.
We're in a generation of
Okay,
verbal
dude.
consent.
There's no
Take away
non-verbal
from-
consent.
They're
Bro,
gonna
shut
take
your
away from the
dumb ass up.
intimacy.
I don't want you to
Okay,
ask because
dude.
I feel like
Exactly.
that's messing up the
But then,
mood.
then they're like,
if I'm
oh,
making
that's such
out
an
with you,
ick
just,
to
like,
ask.
have it
Like,
to
bro,
me, bro.
what?
I mean, I know sometimes people can think, oh, that's gonna ruin the mood. And I don't think it does.
Honestly, it could make it better.
I like being asked.
It's never bad.
It can only help.
I think sometimes it's sexy when someone's like, can I do
No,
this?
you
Do
don't.
like this?
No,
Foreplay
you
could be a
don't.
great way to ask your partner if they're ready for that type of thing. What do you like? What don't you like?
That kind of starts that conversation.
Ugly ass.
You want to
dog.
ask in a way that's
Bro,
Do you
this
like
dog.
this?
Foreplay could be a great way to ask your partner if they're ready for that type of thing.
Bro,
What do you like? What don't you
This
like?
dog. This dog is 1 tap, man. It's 1 HP.
Starts that conversation with consent.
Jesus
you want to
Christ.
ask in a way that's not intimidating.
Like, let me put it up your butt. And you're like, no.
What?
Over communicating will
Ah.
never do the harm that under communicating would.
Communication is really, really important.
Just so like we're on the same page.
sometimes it's not even verbal.
Body language
Exactly.
is just 70% of our language.
Those glasses are wild.
Hold the hands, look at the eyes, and then just like click.
You feeling cues for me, and I'm moving forward towards you.
You feel it, you're open to it, they're open to it.
I actually coached and counseled a young man who was a virgin and didn't know if his girlfriend was giving him consent. And I told him, I said, when you're kissing her, take a piece of her hair and stroke down her hair, especially if she has longer hair. And if she lifts up and pushes her boob into your hand, that's her telling you she wants to go further.
Did he come back and say if this was, did it work?
He lost
or-
his virginity.
You can definitely act
What?
flirtatious. Yeah, see, it's kind of a fine line.
If it's your
I get that
partner,
hair
if it's
stroke.
something you guys
What?
Doing pretty often.
Ain't no way.
To have like a developed intimacy for that kind of thing.
All right.
you're just meeting someone for the first
I
time.
gotta go back.
Fine.
I gotta
piece
go
of her
back.
hair. Man who was a virgin and didn't know
What?
if his girlfriend was giving him consent. And I told him, I said, when you're kissing her, take a piece of her hair and stroke down her
Making
hair, especially if
notes.
she has longer
Yeah.
hair. And if she lifts up and
What?
pushes her boob into your hand,
All right,
that's
hair.
her telling you she wants to go
And then
further.
if you
Did
get
he
the
come back
titty
and
out of
say
it,
if
then
this was, did it work?
he
then
lost
y'all
his
can
virginity.
fuck.
You can definitely
What?
act flirtatious. Yeah, see, it's kind of a fine line.
If it's your partner,
Alright,
It's
dude.
something you guys are
doing pretty often.
You have to have like a developed intimacy for that kind of thing.
If you're just meeting someone for the first time, yeah, you might want to ask.
Once you know who you're with,
I guess it depends.
It depends on how well you're connected with the person.
I mean, if you don't know,
True.
You shouldn't be with that person because you don't know them well enough.
Even if you've been in a relationship for a long time, it still is not like because you've had sex with her a million times that she has to bust down every single time.
I've been in a relationship and it
She
has
should
been consensual.
I've been in a
want to,
situation
but-
where I slept with a man and then years later he just expected to do it again because we'd done it before.
There are so many times I've looked back and I'm like, wow, like I totally just let that happen and didn't think twice about if I really wanted it to, but I thought that I needed to. It kind of makes me mad.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't call it rape, but I have had sex where I didn't want it and it didn't matter.
That's rape?
Do you talk to people about that?
I haven't, no.
It's literally the definition of what?
When I first started having sex, I wasn't comfortable having that conversation at all, but now I am.
I had a relationship where there was zero consent and I didn't realize what consent was. And then when I learned that someone can ask me how I feel about what's being done to me, changed my life.
I'm not the person who are submissive that if the husband wants that, you have to be there. No, not me.
I will fight you. Maybe it's because I'm a bitch. I'm not sure.
How has the conversation around consent changed in your lifetime?
Oh, well, now we have it.
I don't remember really
Good one.
anybody ever talking about it.
When you were younger, did you hear a lot about consent?
No,
Why?
because I had little boobs. I mean, we're being honest here, right?
What?
So all my friends, all their boobs came in and mine didn't. So I thought, well, this is God's way of wanting me to be a virgin.
How has the conversation around consent changed in your
Huh?
lifetime?
There are actual repercussions if men do not stop.
I think I've spoken up more.
Being more vocal with my needs and not it always being about the guy.
When I was a teenager, it was always no means no, and I think they've transitioned more to yes means yes.
As a kid, I remember so much of
Wait, what?
kisses and
When I was a teenager, it was always
No
no
means
means no,
no.
and I think they've transitioned more to yes means yes.
One more time.
With my needs and not it always being about the guy.
When I was a teenager,
Uh-huh.
it was always no means,
means
no,
no.
and I think they've transitioned more to yes means yes.
as a kid,
don't
I
know
remember
what the
so
difference
much
is.
of
What?
kisses and hugs being forced on me.
When I see people, I ask if I can hug them. My kids,
So, like, if they
as
don't
much as
say
it has
no, it's
totally
not a
miffed my
yes?
family.
Is that what she's
if
saying?
They do not feel like giving a hug. I am not going to force them.
My era, we were very naive, and women weren't given a lot of power.
It wasn't that long ago that a man could rape his wife legally.
I come from a culture, Confucian beliefs around men's status and the valuelessness of women doesn't make a space for any language of consent.
If you didn't say no and you kept on playing, you basically were consenting.
I had been taken advantage of
Well,
early
isn't
on
the-
in my life, and
That's kind of. I'm just not
looking
gonna say
back
anything.
on it, I really needed to be more clear.
I mean, I've been raped. I mean, I've gone out on
Jesus.
dates and broke my rules about meeting them in private, not meeting them in a public place, not getting to know them, and just hoping that you get out of there and not get hurt too badly. Didn't report
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Accepted. I felt somewhat responsible for myself for doing that.
It's an awful feeling. It's an awful feeling to the person that you just kind of disregarded, and it's also kind of disgusting as well.
I still have panic attacks really bad, like even in the middle of sex, it happens.
So I was assaulted when I was 28, and now I'm much more like, no, you should ask me before you touch me there. But I've also played a more active part in asking my partners. It was often like a one-way street, and now it's me asking, you know, hey, can I suck your
True.
dick? Because sometimes, I've never gotten a no to that. But I feel like it's good just to be like
True.
on the same page.